Hello, my friends and history buffs. Thanks for joining in this fifth episode of the 50 Chinese old sayings with Michael. My name is Michael Lu, and today's Chinese old saying is the old saying of Guan Bao Friendship. And again, Guan Bao Friendship. In Chinese, it's Guan Bao Jiao, and again, Guan Bao Jiao, and it is used to praise long-term friendship between two lifetime friends. Guan was Guanzhong, a famous politician in the Chinese history, to have accomplished all kinds of praiseworthy political deeds for the Qi state that we talked about in our fourth episode of the 50 Chinese old sayings. Guanzhong was a kind of Bismarck type of politician, just as what Bismarck had done for Germany in his efforts to unify Germany in the 18th century Europe. Guanzhong had made the Qi state the first great power during the East Chao dynasty around 650 BC, while Bao was Bao Shuya, although not considered as famous and capable as Guanzhong. Bao Shuya was another key political figure in the Qi state at that time. Guanzhong was number one, while Bao Shuya was number two, and they had been colleagues and friends all their lives since they were youngsters. As a close friend to Guanzhong, Bao Shuya always understood and said nice things about him. When they were out on a business venture together to have made a profit, Guanzhong always got the bigger share, while Bao Shuya the smaller. But Bao Shuya said it was only because Guanzhong had a bigger family to feed. On their military missions, Guanzhong was found to have stayed behind all the time like a coward, but Bao Shuya said that it was because Guanzhong needed to stay alive to look after his old mother. Further, Bao Shuya had for a few times introduced Guanzhong to work on government jobs, on which Guanzhong failed over and over again, leading to his terminations for at least 3 times. Yet, Bao Shuya only said that Guanzhong was still waiting for his time to come to prove himself. So that Guanzhong later was heard to have sighed and said, although I was born to my parents, Bao Shuya is the only person that knows me well. In 685 BC, Qishan Duke was assassinated by his cousin after 14 years as the Qi state's ruler, while his successor, the assassin, also got murdered within 1 year, leaving only 2 legitimate heirs to compete for the throne, the Prince Zhou and Prince Jiang Xiaobai. Guanzhong was Zhou's top advisor and schoolmaster, while Bao Shuya was Jiang Xiaobai's. But during the time when a decision about who should be the rightful heir must be made, they were both out of the country. The Prince Zhou was in the Lu state, while Jiang Xiaobai was in another even smaller state, the Ju state. At this moment, the time is of the essence, and the name of the game was who could return to Qi State's capital city, Linqi, faster than the other one, and the first to have arrived will win the game. Guanzhong, as Zhou's top advisor, wanted to make sure that Zhou reached Linqi first, and his plan was to outflank Jiang Xiaobai to assassinate him by surprise so that he took a shortcut and catch up with Jiang Xiaobai from behind and took his arrow shot the moment he saw him, who was smart enough to play dead by landing his back on the inside of his carriage when seeing the arrow landing on his belt buckle. In the meantime, he even bit himself on the tongue and spit out the blood to make his fake death looked more real to Guanzong, who, seeing this, thought he had got the job done, and then returned to Zhangzhou, taking his time to join Zhangzhou to resume their journey back to Linqi, thinking they had got everything under control. Jiang Xiaobai, on the other hand, had picked up his speed and run like hell to reach Linqi first, unscathed, and became the new ruler after getting enough support from people back home. Hearing this latest development in Linqi, Guanzong and Zhangzhou decided to turn around and go back to the Lu state for the moment, knowing that there was no point continuing their journey to Linqi anymore. The Luchang Duke was upset at this development, thinking that Zhangzhou should have been the one. Luchang Duke was the son of Wen Chang and Lu Huan Duke, who got murdered by the Prince Pansen after his learning of what had gone between his wife and his brother-in-law, the story we already talked about in the 4th episode. Believing that Zhangzhou still had a chance, the Lu Chuan Duke took him under his wing by requesting, perhaps in the form of an ultimatum, that Jiang Xiaobai immediately abdicate, which of course was ignored, and for which the Lu state immediately launched its invasion into the Qi state, which was vehemently resisted and eventually repelled. As a result, the Lu state was not only required to turn a few towns of its own over to the Qi state as compensation, but also to surrender Guanzong alive. The reason given by the Qi state was that Jiang Xiaobai had hated him so much that he wanted to return the favor personally. As for Zhangzhou, his head, brought back to the Qi state in a wooden box, would have sufficed. The Luchang Duke did both things to oblige after his shameful defeat, although one advisor suggested having Guanzhong killed in the Lu state if they could not keep him there, knowing that he was so capable to have lots of potentials that could pose a threat to the Lu state in the future, which turned out to be exactly what had actually happened. After his return to the Qi state, Guanzong had been hired as the Qi state's prime minister for over 40 years, while Bao Shuya was his deputy ever since. Jiang Xiaobai at first had second thoughts about having Guanzong as his prime minister, saying that he'd rather have Bao do the job. But Bao then explained to Jiang Xiaobai, saying that you can have me do the job if you only want to enjoy peace and quiet and minding your own business for the rest of your life. But if you want to do more by making the Qi state a great power among all other vassal states, Guanzong is the only one that can do the job for you. Jiang Xiaobai had agreed to be obliged. Hey guys, this wraps up today's episode of the 50 Chinese sayings. Guan Bao Friendship. And again, Guan Bao Friendship in Chinese is 管鲍之交. And again, 管鲍之交. Many thanks for you to join in and listen to this episode of the 50 Chinese sayings with Michael. And then until next time, I wish you all the best. Goodbye and have a nice day.